Hey guys, it's C-Mac here. Today we're going to talk about AWS Codecommit. And basically I'm going to show you all the Git commands that you need to know in order to use Codecommit or any other Git-based system. So basically Git is a version control. It's a source control. Imagine you're working for a team as a software engineer and you're contributing to a project. You want to send your code for code review to go to the production. So you need to basically place to keep all the source code and all the changes during the lifecycle development. So that place is called, search control. Companies use, products like Subversion, like GitHub in a private mode, and AWS Codecommit. Of course, it's a great, basically managed source control service by AWS. It's an awesome service. It's exactly like other repositories, so reliable, but it integrates with all the AWS ecosystem, which is great. In the next video, I'll actually show you how to do code pipeline, code build, and how to ship the code and basically build a CD/CI pipeline. So all the Git commands, they're very basic. I'm going to show you how to use them. I'm going to make sure you really understand them really well. There are a few concepts that you need to learn. So one of them, when we create a new repository, we can basically clone that repository. It means we can basically have a local copy of that on our machine. So when we have a local copy of that repository on our machine, now we can start making changes without affecting the main system. So that's the beauty of it. So nothing breaks while you're making changes to your software, to the product. So you're experimenting different things. When you're working on a project, when you get a copy, you can basically create different branches. Branch means a path. Let's say your first branch is called main, and all the development are happening on the main. And then you get different branches from that. Let's say you get a help desk ticket that says, "Oh, please fix this, GUI issue on this website." So you basically create a branch off of the main one, and you start working on that, and without affecting the main pipeline. Once that one is done, you can basically merge that easily to your main repository, which I'm going to show you how. So you have branches, which means there are different routes for different type of developments. Let's say you are building an MVP, you want to experience 5 different style of programming for a specific case. So you can create 5 different branches without affecting the main one. So it's always good practice to use Git, because that way you can keep track of your code. You can go back and compare what you did in the past, and in case if you want to go back, you always have a good healthy version of your code available for you. So I told you about git clone, how to get a copy, or you can do git init. I'm going to show you all these commands, very easy. So we have git add, which would basically add the files that we change to our local repository, and we basically have git push command, which sends all the changes from our local repository to the remote repository. We're going to practice all these with the Java or Spring Boot application. I'm going to pick one while I'm developing. You're going to start practicing how to get a copy of Git, how to make changes, how to commit them to local, and how to send them back to the server for code review. So without further ado, let's get started. I'm logged into my AWS account, and I search for AWS Codecommit, which is a Git repository in AWS. And now I'm in my Codecommit page. So for now, let's create a new repository. So repository is basically a place that we're going to keep our code there, and also all the changes that we make to the code. So the name is going to be my test repo, right? And this is for my YouTube video, all right? And what we're going to do, we're going to click on create. So AWS immediately created our repository, and underneath you will see that AWS has given us 2 options. One is SSH, one is HTTPS. So basically you can clone, or you can get a repository on your local machine by using SSH or HTTPS. In this example, we're just going to go ahead with HTTPS. And down here, if you look, there is a command that actually tells us if you want to basically clone this repository, you can just copy this command and clone. All right, I'm going to click on copy, and I'm going to go to my local computer. I've created actually a document, a folder called AWS Codecommit. And now I'm going to right click on it. I've installed Git on my computer. You can simply go to Google and basically search for download Git and download the Git and install it on your machine. It becomes available like this. Let me know if you have any questions. All right, so we go in here and we're just going to paste this command that we just copied from AWS Codecommit. So this is going to basically clone the repository. So what's happening here, AWS is telling me that it says unable to access this repository. So if you think about it, it makes a lot of sense because I'm trying to access a repository that I don't have access to. So what do I do? In order to basically make this work, you need to go to your IAM section, which is Identity and Access Management. And in that section, you're going to have to create a secret key and secret access key for your basically code commit and give it only access to code commit. So I'm going to actually go to my AWS. I'm going to pause this access to my IAM section because I want to keep this account private, and we'll take it from there. All right, guys, I'm in my IAM account, IAM section of my AWS account, and I'm just going to create a user called AWS Codecommit because this user specifically is going to have access to that repository in my AWS Codecommit. So if you look down here, so again, I'm in the IAM section, add user, adding a user. I'm just going to give it access, programmatic access. So remember, do not give it access to AWS console since we're going to just connect to using access key and secret access key. So next, set permission, attach existing policies directly, and I'm going to say connected to code commit. All right, let's see what we have here. So it says code commit, of course, full access, code commit, power user, and code commit read only. I'm going to give it code commit full access since this user is going to be used only for this purpose. So whatever key you want to assign, I'm not going to do it right now, and I'm going to say done and create user. All right, the user has been created, and I do have basically a secret key and secret access key. So I'm not blurring this section because after this tutorial, I'm just gonna remove this key from my account. So I'm not worried about it. Let's go back to Notepad. I'm gonna copy this because if you don't copy it, you are going to lose it. And then here, copy it and go first. And so basically this is my access key. All right, and this is my secret access key. Perfect. All right, so we're done with this section, and I'm going to go back to my code commit section. All right, now down here you see I have an HTTP Git credential only for AWS Codecommit that is assigned to this specific user, and I can actually use this as a basically account in order to access my AWS Codecommit. I can reset the password. Of course, I can deactivate it and basically, remove it from my account if I don't like to access my Codecommit any longer. Now we're going to actually go back to our Windows environment and see if we can now connect our Windows to talk to AWS Codecommit. Okay, we downloaded our username and password. Again, this username and password is useless because I'm going to remove it from my account, so they're not valid. Please use your own username and password that you create under your account. So I just basically got a copy of this AWS Codecommit project under my Node.js in Dropbox folder. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go and open my Visual Studio Code. If you don't have it, you can install it. Any other IDE like Eclipse, I don't know, Notepad, Atom, anything will work. In this case, in this example, I'm just using a different editor, which is called Visual Studio Code. So let's go to Visual Studio Code, and the folder that I'm interested in is called AWS Codecommit. I'm going to open it, and in this case, I'm just going to create a Node.js, small file project and work with it. So I'm going to say app.js. All right. So in this example, I'm just going to create a function, And in this function, it's going to be say hi. All right. And here I'm going to say just console.log. This is just going to print this value on my screen. Hi from CMAC. All right. And we are done with this module. And as you know, in Node, we create modules. And I'm going to say module.exports equal to say hi. This function, it's going to export this function that I have here. So basically, I can import this function in my other Node.js files and start using it. So this basically gives me a modular and basically loosely coupled components in my Node.js application. Okay, that was just extra piece regarding Node.js. All right, now I'm going to actually go ahead and minimize this guy. All right, then we're going to say, I missed this part, git init. Perfect. So we just created a basically empty repository. Now we're going to say our local repository git status. It says when we run git status, that's your first command. We're basically asking Git to give us some update, right? As you can see, when I initiated the basically cloned the repository, I had no file in it. Right now I have app.js file inside it, and Git says, hey, there's a file, it's red, you have to commit this to your local repository. I said, awesome. So I see the file. This is git add app.js. So we just added app.js file to our local repository. Let's confirm that. What do? We do git status. Now it's no longer red. Now it's turned to green. It means it's been added to our local repository. Perfect. So let's say now our file is ready. Our repository on AWS side is basically empty. Let's go back to our code commit. All right, we're back to code commit. We're back to code commit our repository. And as you can see, our repository, if I click on commits, it says there's no commit. It's basically empty repository, right? And now here we have one file in our local repository, and we would like to send this file up here to our AWS Codecommit repository. How do we do that? It's so simple. So the first thing we need to do, we need to add git commit -m first commit. And let's explore what this is. So basically I'm telling Git, you can go ahead and commit this file, and you do -m space in the code. You put some comments for your commit, and basically you commit this file to your local repository. So the file is still in your local machine, but we need to send it to AWS site. So far we've added the file. Basically we staged the file, and then we added to a local repository by running git commit command, right? Now we're ready to send this file to our AWS repository. And the way we do that, we say git push origin, which basically is our origin destination, is master. And the reason is master, if you look, right now we are on branch master, right? And we can create different branches, but right now at this time we are working on our master branch, right? On an AWS code commit site, as you can see, we are working on master. You're going to see it shortly. I'm going to show you, and I can create different branches. But if I click on branches, there's no branch at this time. Once I push this command to AWS code commit, you're going to see that in there. So let's see actually if we can do this right now. So perfect. We get an error. It says basically your origin doesn't exist, and basically my machine doesn't know anything about my code commit destination. So what I need to do, I need to add that destination to my local computer, so it knows when I push and send the files to basically a master branch or any other branch, it knows what the destination is. Let's get that configured. All right, so the way we do that, we say git remote add origin space, and we need the destination, or basically our origin. Now we need to get the address of our destination, which is our repository. I just copied it. I'm going to minimize that.
and I'm just going to add it here. All right. Well, I don't need the git clone section. Perfect. It says git remote at origin this section. So, well, basically what I just did, I told my local machine that if you want to push anything to a remote machine, to my remote source control system, use this endpoint, which is http git commit AWS whatever repos/test repo. So if I try that command push basically origin to master, what's going to happen, Amazon is going to say, oh, your request has been denied, and this is the error that you usually get working with code commit. So get used to it. So I'm going to show you how to get this fixed. Just follow through. So all you need to do, you just go to control panel, and basically you go to credential manager and find the credential that says code commit and your repository name. So for security reason, I'm going to pause it and I'm going to find that and delete it from my computer. All right, let's do that. All right, guys, as I said, I removed all the credentials that starts with code commit on my Windows credential section in my control panel. And as soon as I initiated the command git push origin master, since there's no credentials saved from the past in my machine, it's going to ask me to basically enter the username and password. So as you remember, when we created our AWS Codecommit repository, we also created a user and we gave the user access to Codecommit through HTTPS. And AWS gave us a username and password to access to the repository. And I'm just going to copy this information and paste it here, and hopefully this will work. We'll see. Perfect. So what I see right now, it says you just pushed 3 total whatever, and it's done here. So hopefully I was able to successfully add my send my data to my repository on AWS. Let's confirm that. This is beautiful. Now I see the comment that I used. It says first commit 6 minutes ago, and who pushed it? CMAC, and perfect. And I see a code commit ID here. So let's click on commit ID, and as you expect, you will see your file app.js sitting in this, and basically it tracks all the changes, and this is my original version. Actually, I can say browse this file, and I can actually go to the code section, and I can see in what I've done here. So we just did our first commit. Our code is safe. In case if you lose this computer, we're just going to go ahead and clone this on a different machine or start working on it. So if you want to share this project with your team members, you can just tell them, hey, just clone this repository that it's called a test repo. You give them the basically endpoint, and they can just clone your repository. Let's go back to our commit section. So you learned about how to browse, and these are the codes, and this was the file that we just pushed to our local repository, right? And then at the end, we pushed it to our server, AWS Codecommit. I just imported this file, which is called this module. Perfect, yeah. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to say call say hi. And say hi is a function, so I need to add the parentheses open and close. So perfect. This module exports this file, and I basically imported app.js. I don't need to have the JS, and I'm going to go ahead and test it. Hopefully this works. So the way it works, we are going to go here and say ls. We're going to take a look at the list. We're going to change the directory to AWS code commit, and then underneath we have a test repo. So if I do ls again, I have 2 files we just added. And if you take a look, we are running on master branch. I'm going to show you how to create new branches and how to merge those branches into your master repository. Perfect. So here, now what I'm going to do, I can actually run this file, node space main.js, and if you look, perfect, we are getting a nice error, right? All right, so what is happening here? Oh, this is the mistake I made. So basically, I told Node.js to import my file and name it my var, but I basically calling it with a different name. All right, let's redo it. Perfect, it says hello from CMAC. My code is ready. I'm done for the day. I'm happy. Now I'm gonna go ahead and send this to my AWS Codecommit repository and make my manager happy. Let's see how we can do that. So let's do ls, perfect. I'm going to ask git guy, tell me about the status. It says, oh, there's a new file called main.js that is new to me. I don't know anything about it, and it's red. What do you want to do with it? So I can say, oh, you know what? I just actually want to add this file. So git add dot basically adds all the changes. So if you don't want to just specify the file as you progress in the project, you have a lot of file that you're basically working with, you can just use this command to add everything to your repository. Now, if I do again git status, now it says, oh, now I know about it and I can track it. It's a new file called main.js. I say, okay, I'm happy with it. Go ahead and please commit this to my local project. I say, I added main.js file to the project and project, perfect. And I'm going to say it's 5/5/2019 and perfect. And here's my smiley face. Awesome. So I committed it to my local repository. Now I'm ready to publish this to my git push origin master branch on my AWS code commit section. I'm happy to go home right now. I just committed all my code, all my work that I've done during the day to my AWS code commit repository. Let's confirm that. Excellent. Now we have I added main.js file to the project on this date, and everybody can see my work, what I've done during the day, and I'm good to go. So we just learned with three basic commands how to track our source code. The first command, let's review that. It was git status. Remember, we asked git, tell us about the files. What changed? What do you see? The next command that we did, we basically told git to add our file, right, which we use dot as means everything, add all the files to my repository, and at the end we committed all those to your local repository, your comment, perfect, your comment, and then at the end we said okay, we're ready to push git push origin master, or basically the branch name. The branch name here was master, which we push to master, right? I just want to make sure you understand this. So we have different branches in software development, different teams working on different modules, different features, different aspect of a product. So you just want to make sure you commit your code to a branch that you're working with your team. So three commands, all you know right now, all you need to know about git and code commit in order to submit your code to your manager, right? Git add file name, which we use the dot basically, and then git commit -m your command and comment, and then at the end git push origin master. So let's go back to our branches. And as you know, as I said default branch is master, and we are basically adding everything, pushing everything to our master branch. And as you can see, I have a comment here, which is the most recent comment that I've done. So we have commits, which are different versions that different people, different developers. See here, it says author. It's all by CMAC. It's been pushed to AWS Codecommit. You can have different programmers basically committing different codes to this repository, and someone at the end of the day, the senior software engineer or lead technical lead, it's going to look at these code, and hopefully it will let your code to go to production environment as soon as possible. All right, so I hope this makes sense until here. Now I'm going to show you a few more commands and move on until we wrap this up. All right, so and now if I type git status, as you can see, it says on branch master, nothing has changed. We're good to go. Branch is clean and clear. Perfect. So I'm going to show you a few commands. I want to see what I've done so far. I'm going to say git log, show me all my logs. It says, oh, here you have committed to basically transactions to AWS Codecommit, and here's the first one and here's the second one. This way, basically with git log -1, you can just get the most recent one. Or if you want to look at more, you can of course go with git space log. But again, this is going to be a lot of information. What you can do, you can say on one line. And this command basically lists all the commits, and as you can see with the codes, but it basically it's a very short version, and it's a nice version of this. So now let's go back to our application comment here. And I'll say, okay, this is my comment. Perfect. And I'm going to save this command. And I'm going to go back. So what I want to do, I want to actually, see what I've done. Get status. We've just learned that. Get status says, oh, perfect. This is 1. And I'm going to say get add this file to repository, and it's going to stage it basically. And it's going to say now it's green. I'm basically tracking this file. And I'm going to say, okay, get commit -m, and this is the new code with comment. And this is basically your comment that is being basically pushed to your local repository. Like, now I realize, oh, I did not want to do that. I have a solution for that. We do git log -1, the most recent commit. It says, oh, this is your commit. I'm just gonna say, oh, then copy this commit, right? Copy this commit, clear the screen. I have the commit in my clipboard, and I'm ready to paste it. The command that you need to run, it's called git revert this commit. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. So this is basically says reverting this. If you want to put something here, I'm just going to put OK. I'm going to say :WQ, basically save and quit. And I'm going to clear this. And again, I'm going to say go back, and it says clean. So before I added the comment, my code, basically I did not have the comment in my code. Let's go back to see if it disappeared. So basically, if you recall, I had the comment in here, but as soon as I ran this command git revert the commit that I just made to my local repository, my code is now back to a normal mode. Beautiful. This is what we wanted to do. So basically, if you make a commit basically to your local repository and you want to roll it back, the command is git space revert space the commit code that you get from the git log command. All right. So we're going to go ahead. This is going to be the last piece that you need to know. Let me run a command. It's called git branch. So as you can see right now, we have one branch. We're working on a master branch. Let's imagine you're working on a big ad tech platform and you just downloaded the code and you're just working on master branch. This is not the best practice, since if you mess something up, you are going to end up basically fetching or pulling all the repository information again from the code commit. Instead of doing that, what you want to do, you can basically create different branches off of your master. In case you mess something up, you just can get rid of the new branch. You're back to the point that your master branch is always clean and happy. Let's actually see what we can do here. So I'm going to actually create a new branch. I just joined this company. I have no idea what they're doing. I'm just trying to learn and add and remove some features, right? This is a test case. It's just a imaginary company that we're working here. All right. So let's see. Get checkout. I'm going to say checkout -b. It means create a new branch, CMAC test environment, right? Because I don't want to mess up my main branch. I'm just going to create a new branch called CMAC test environment. All right. So if you pay attention, from master, now we are back. We're switching to CMAC test environment. So we can do whatever we want to do. Basically, this is a second copy of our master branch. We can do whatever we want to do with the CMAC test environment. And if something goes wrong, we can just get rid of it and go back to the master. Master will stay healthy and untouched. All right. I hope this makes sense. So now let's actually work on our branch and see what we can do. But if you type basically git branch, now you have two branches that, if you pay attention, there's a star and next to CMAC test environment branch, and it's green. It means we are now actively working under that branch. Perfect. So let's go back and we're going to remove this code and save it. All right. Or what we can do, we're going to actually add some feature. Let's see, we're going to do console.log and we're going to add this was an addition, whatever, right? So we go back and we say git status, and it says, oh, actually main.js has changed. I say, yeah, I understand. I say git.add, add it to this repository. Perfect. And now I'm going to commit it. Once I stage it, I need to commit it. All right, commit -m, added a new function, for example, whatever. We worked on it, we developed a new function, and now we are ready basically to merge this changes, merge this feature to our main branch, which is master, and then push it to AWS Codecommit for code review. We're going to go with a command called git checkout master. Let's see what it does. If you take a look, now we just switched from CMake test to master. So command git checkout space branch name will basically take you there. Remember, in the first part where we wanted to create a new branch, we added a argument called the -b. It means we want to create a new branch called whatever we want to name it. All right, now we're back to master branch, and we are ready to apply, basically to merge all the changes, all the features that we've been working on for the last few days to our master branch. So hopefully my manager can see it and approve it. So this is how we can do it. We say git merge CMake test environment. It says fast forward +1 file merged to this master repository. So all the features that we developed under CMake test environment branch, now it's been merged to our master. Let's go back and actually we're gonna take a look at the status. We're gonna say git push master, git push origin master, send it, push it to the original master branch on my AWS Codecommit. So we're going to wait, and my system is going to push all the changes to the server. Now we're going to go back to the server and refresh the page. So here you are going to see that all the functionalities that we added to the code, it's already here. The extra code, revert the extra code, and add a new function 2 minutes ago. So this basically commit should contain all the changes that I basically applied to my code. And as you can see, I added this piece under CMake test environment branch and merged it to my main and eventually pushed it to my server. So you always want to make sure you have enough branches. And if I go back to my branch, now you see only one master, because everything on the server, it's on the master. But of course, in my local repository, my local machine, in order to manage my code more easily, so I don't mess up different things at the same time, I create different branches. So I have different environments. In case I mess up something, I can just go ahead and delete that and get rid of that branch. So as you can see here, if I type git, let me clear the screen. And if I type git branch, and you see I have two basically branches here sitting on my machine. Well, now we are done with CMake test environment branch, which was a feature that we're exploring, and we managed to basically create the code, create the feature, and fix the GUI, and basically merge it to our master and eventually push it to AWS Codecommit. So our code review team and our manager, our tech lead, can basically take a look at it and hopefully push it to production as a new feature to our product. So we don't need that CMake test environment feature because it was a temporary place to work with the code, and then at the end we merged it to master. So master already contains all the information from CMake test environment branch. Now all we need to do is just get rid of the branch, and the branch is basically, it's called CMake test, right? This is the branch, and it says deleted branch CMake. And if I do git branch, and as you can see, we only have one branch that is called master.
All right, guys, we just learned how to work with AWS Codecommit and apply our Git knowledge to basically update our code, send our code to repository, read from repository, make changes, create branches, delete branches, and so on. So if you have any questions, please leave it in the comment section and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Subscribe to my channel and I hope to see you next time. Bye.